Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Sean from QDP. I was just taking a moment to vlog something that has been on my spirit to say. So first off, I just wanted to check in with everybody to see how everyone is doing, and I hope everyone is doing good. So I hope that is good. And I hope that everyone has a blessed day and things of that nature. Okay, so without further delay, I really need to get into this topic. This topic is a very serious one because it's something that I know I myself have been through. As a new person getting into a spiritual journey, I didn't have all the answers, and I still don't have all the answers, but one thing's for certain, that I am not stupid. Okay, so I say that because when you know, as a newcomer, and this is really for newcomers, is basically what I'm directing this video to. If you are a newcomer and you have given your life to God and you do seek genuinely how to walk in His image, if you genuinely want to seek how to get closer to God, then it's a couple of things that you must do. It's not even something that is an obligation. It's not even a suggestion. It's something that you need to do. And that is to remove yourself from anything and everything that is going to be disturbing you from blocking your blessing. That is going to be disturbing you from getting closer to God. Just disturbing you and giving you nothing but distraction in what it is that God is calling you to be and calling you to do. Okay? I don't take too lightly. I don't like gossipers. I never have. I don't like talking about anybody. I know I myself, even in the world, even in the worldly life, I've always been a person to be direct to you. Meaning, if I have something to say to you, I'm going to say it to your face. I will not, and I refuse to go behind people's back and talk about them. I'm going to say it to you, to your face. More than likely, I'm going to say it to your face before I even turn around and call somebody to say, I said X, to say that I am feeling this way about this person. So the person who I have an issue with, more than likely, I've already talked to that person. And whatever the issue may be, whatever the resolution was, that's what it was. But more than likely, if I'm going to talk about you, I'm going to say it in your face. I'm never going to say it behind your back. That's just me. However, I wish that was something that our today's quote-unquote Christians would do. I see some people can be miserable. Some people don't know how to love themselves. Some people are jealous and envious in their own mind. And even though that person may not tell you, there's not going to be a sign on their back that says, hey, I'm jealous of such and such. Or, hey, I just want to be like you when I grow up. It's not going to be a sign that is attached to them on their forehead like it was back in the day in the Bible when they had the plagues and diseases and saying that they were unclean and they had to wear a sign that says, I'm unclean. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? So no one's going to really willingly wear a sign to say, hey, I'm jealous of Sally Sue over here. No, nobody's going to do that. However, I'm going to be honest, I can feel when a person has a jealousy spirit. I may not say nothing, but I can feel the jealousy spirit within someone. And I say this, so new people that are very new and they're really trying to walk the right path, I encourage you, one, this is a must. Do not fall into people who gossip. Absolutely not. If you have a family member, a co-worker, a church member, whomever that may be, if they are gossiping, you might want to tell them to not gossip. If they're gossiping about someone, more than likely, they ain't even talk to that person, even tell them how they really truly feel. They're being a coward and talking about people behind their back without even telling them exactly how they feel. Here's the thing. A lot of us want to walk in God's image, right? I know a lot of people want to be and satisfy God and walk in God's image, but none of, it's a lot of people who do not want to do the work. A lot of people don't want to love unconditionally and love unconditionally like God loves us. As God loves us, we are to do the same and love others in the same manner. But here's the thing. You have people who tend to don't do that. Instead, they rather gossip, talk about people behind their back. But more than likely, 9 chances out of 10, they have not even been a real person and tell that person to their face. The same energy that they're telling you about a person by gossiping, I guarantee you that same energy they have not even told that person. Like, for example, if a person came to you and shared some gossip about me, let me just give you an example. They probably, Shani just thinks she know everything. Shani thinks she God. Shani thinks she is God's helper. Or Shani thinks she's X, Y, and Z, right? But 9 times out of 10, the same energy and the way they're saying it to you, they have not confronted me about it. They have not told me exactly how they felt. They have not told me exactly what it is that's on their mind. But instead, they just ran off like a coward and told you what they want to say. So here's what I do as a person. I no longer accept gossip. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a coworker, family member. I do not care if you're a church member. I could care less. I personally do not accept gossip. So when someone comes to me and they choose to want to gossip about someone, it's either one or two things I do. One, I may just plain blank remove myself from the whole environment. Meaning, I don't want to hear what you have to say about somebody else negative, especially if you didn't even bother to tell that person how you felt. Why would I want to listen to that? And let that negativity manifest into my spirit and let that devil that you have in you jump off into me because I'm sitting here listening to your negative gossip about somebody else. That's the first thing. 2, more than likely, if they're gossiping, you want to tell them, if you have enough courage to do so, just simply tell them, if you haven't talked to that person about how you feel about that person, if you literally just ask them, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way about that person, but let me ask you a question. Have you sat down and talked to that person and explained how you feel about that person like you're doing to me? If the answer is, you know what, girl, no, I didn't do that, then stop it right there. For me, it's a big no. Stop. If you tell me you have not even talked to that person, but yet you want to sit up here and talk about them to me, I'm going to tell you simply, I'm not that person. I am not the person you can talk negative about people. I could care less. You're not gonna do that with me. So I respectfully tell you, I'm not the person. You might want to find somebody else to do that, but I am not that person. Because here's the thing, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to have to do God's work by telling you what it is that God is wanting to be done. I'm going to have to be obedient to God and tell you how the behavior needs to be corrected in a spiritual way, how it should. And you may not take it that way. you may take it as a whole different way. So instead of you doing that, I'd rather for you not to gossip to me, because I will not accept it. So that's the second thing you can do. You have control over people and their gossip and negative mess. If you do not want to indulge, you got control by simply saying, I don't want to hear it. Excuse me. If you have not spoken to that person, I don't want to be in the middle of anything. Please do not speak to me about it. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, when it comes down to gossip, is that if a person continues to do that, then that means they have not truly given their self to God like they're saying. Because if you're trying to walk in God's image, you got to think about it. Do you think God will be satisfied knowing that his child is talking about another fellow child of his? One thing it says in the Bible, that you will not be able to talk foolishly about someone who has the holy anointed oil on them. Meaning, you can sit up here and talk about me all day long if you choose. If that's what you want to do, that means I must be doing something right, because there's no hatred without you doing something good. So if you choose to, to talk about me in a spiteful way, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to care. I'm still going to pray, because by the end of the day, my Father will take care of everything and more. And that's really all that I say to myself, because they did it to God. I mean, they did it to Jesus either way. They talked about him. They scrutinized him. They did so much. So it's only inevitable for it to happen to me, right? So I don't even be bothered by it. I'm really unbothered, by the way. However, I will, like I said, I will put a person in their place and not listen to anything what they saying. So I say to newcomers of the church, if you find yourself sitting next to somebody in church and that's all they want to do is gossip, and if you want your blessing, if you want to walk right, I encourage you to move. I encourage you to sit somewhere else. Sit somewhere else next to a person who has the holy anointed oil on them. Don't sit next to someone who still got hell in them. Don't sit next to someone who still consistently want to judge and gossip and talk about people. And especially if they don't even have enough decency to talk to them and straighten the matter out. If they're being cowardly and gossiping and talking and nonsense, and they haven't even told the person all they're saying to you, that should tell you something in so many ways. Misery likes company. And what's the saying when they say a person can't, you know how the saying says, you can't argue with a person, you can't argue by yourself, right? So you can't argue with someone if you're not feeding back into it. Eventually, the person who wants to start an argument and you're not feeding back into it, they're going to eventually stop. So it's the same thing with gossiping and being messy. So if you are continuously keep moving yourself out of the environment, keep moving yourself out of the picture from that person who continuously want to be gossiping about someone to you or anything like that, they're going to at some point get the picture and move on to someone else. Because they're going to feel like, you know what, I can't even get to you. I can't even rock with you no more. Now, you're going to be the next person they talk about, because now you're not giving them the time of day to talk about people like you used to. So now you're going to be, at some point, you're going to be the topic in their mouth now. And that's just how it works. So, but by the end of the day, you gotta make that spiritual move and do good for yourself. So you got to ask yourself, who are you living for? Are you living for the gossiper, or are you living for God? Which one is more important? Which one really makes a difference? Which one is actually helping you do what you need to do? Is it the gossiper and the messy person, or is it God themselves, himself? So once you answer that question, then that should give you an instant idea of what you need to do. Because if someone is consistently want to be messy and negative, then that person don't need to be around you. You need to pray and remove that person out of your existence. So that way you can have a clear picture of what it is that you need to do. You need to be able to stay focused and grounded. But as long as you got someone sitting next to you in your ear talking about other people, that may rub off on you as some shape, fashion, and form. That spirit of evil may jump into you, and now you're thinking a whole certain way about whomever and whenever. So you have to make a conscious decision to isolate yourself for good, and also stand up for yourself and be like, listen, I don't want to have that no more. I don't want to talk about that no more. And I encourage you not to talk about them no more unless you want to talk to them face to face and settle the issue that's going on. I don't want to hear anything about it. Matter of fact, the only time I'll hear anything if someone have a strife with someone is they want to come to me and ask, hey, how do you think I should handle this matter spiritually? If you're not doing that, my ears are not open to anything negative you got to say about somebody. My ears are not open to gossip. I don't do that. That's high school. Don't nobody want to be bothered with gossip. I mean, we getting too old for gossiping. You know what I'm saying? And I am a firm believer, if you can't even talk to me in my face and tell me exactly what you're saying, then that's okay too, because that means you're a coward, right? You're a coward. You can't even tell me exactly what you want to say in my face, but you want to, talk to other people about me and don't even give them the opportunity to hear both sides of the story. You rather do other things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, in order for you to do right and do within yourselves, you have to make the decision what is best for you. That's the first thing I want to address when it comes down to gossipers, messy people, negative people, because if that's who they are, genuinely, that is what their weakness is, and that is something that they need to work with, but that's a battle between them and God itself. That is not your battle to figure it out. Your battle is to be able to do for you and be able to stay steadfast and be able to do what you are called to do. So that way, when the time comes, there's no doubt about it. There's no question mark in the book that you are belonging to get into everlasting life beyond those gates. Okay? That's what you need to focus on and worry about. If you consistently allow people to be a snake and slither into your life and cause destruction and cause you to be able to be confused because this is a person who you used to rock with back in the day, and now you don't rock with them in that way because you choose to live a better life, then, some people cannot go where you're trying to go. Okay? Some people they cannot tag along with you. So you have to really, really, really be cautious in people who try to befriend you. Okay? Because here's the thing, when you go to church, it's not for a show. It's not for it's really not for anything but for you to praise God and get the word. And if you're not in church for that, then you're wasting the time. You're wasting a seat that someone else who maybe want to sit there to do. So it's only certain things that you should be able to do in that matter. So you have to understand where your role is and how you play your role in the best for you to become the child of God that is ordained for you to be. That is the first thing. The second thing I wanted to address is we have leaders for reasons. We have pastors, deacons, we have different auxiliaries in the church, right? But one thing, we have to understand our place. We got to understand that what is not our territory. We cannot go and be rude and talk to our leaders with disrespect. Because when you talk to our leaders with disrespect, you are disrespecting a female or a male that God has ordained to teach us the word, to spread the word. So you not only disrespecting them, but you also, think about it, disrespecting God too. So we all need to be careful in what we are trying to do or say. So if our pastor is saying one thing, then that's what it needs to be. And that is the final word. If you have not been in church for 20, 30 years, you do not have the authority to tell a pastor who's been in church longer than you what to do with the money of the church when you're not even living right yourself. You can't sit up here and tell the pastor or whomever, pastor, deacon, whomever, treasurer, you can't tell anybody who's been ordained by God and living the life of God and is doing the word of God what and can do with their money. Not their money, do with the money with the church. When you are not even living the life that you're supposed to. How does that look? So let me break it down to you. And as far as what I'm really trying to say, how does it look if I sit here and I tell a minister on how to preach? Oh, you shouldn't say that so many times, or you shouldn't make repetitive sermons so many times, or X, Y, and Z. But yet, who am I to sit up here and tell the minister what and what not to say each Sunday when by the end of the day, I'm not even living what I'm supposed to be doing? Why would I tell the minister how to preach when the minister has been in church way before me and way before I was even thought of existence in this land today? And on top of that, been in the church and spiritual world before I even thought about it. And then on top of that, I myself knowingly is not living the way I'm supposed to be living. I am not living the way I'm faking it in church. So why would I even want to open them can of worms by sitting up here telling what a leader in the church should be doing, whatever department they're in charge of, when by the end of the day, I'm not even doing what I'm supposed to do? I need people to stop doing stuff and they don't even do what they supposed to do. I need people to do and worry about their own business when it come down to things. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of things that's going on in churches today. Everyone's so mindful in everyone else's business, but don't even attend to their own business. Before you attend to any matters of the church, I personally feel you need to get your stuff right first. How can you offer your advice to anything and you live in hell in your life? How can you offer prayer to someone when you sitting up here talking about the person you praying about? How can you sit up here and tell a pastor what to do with their books, what they're counting and things of that nature, when you don't even take care of your own money? Or you don't even do what you're supposed to do in a godly manner? Why would you, so I guess what I'm saying is some things it's just not worth being said. And sometimes people who say things and do things like that need to get a reality check and look in a mirror, because they, I don't know about you, but if I know I'm not living my life right, I'm the last person that's going to speak on anything. Because you're going to run into a person like me that's going to really be transparent and blunt and tell you the absolute truth, and you may not want to hear that. So me personally, if I know I'm not living my life right, I'm not going to sit up here and tell the pastor or the deacon or the minister what they need to be doing and how they need to run stuff when I don't even do what I need to do as a child of God. I'm just not. That's stepping beyond boundaries, and that's not my territory. Some things you have to trust, and that's the thing. If you doing that, then you don't even have your faith in God, because you're supposed to trust God in whatever that is going on. And if something was malicious happening, or something was off, don't you think our Jehovah Jireh will figure it out for us, or for them, or for the leaders? I think so. Our God will take care of everything and more. So believe, if something was off, or whatever the case may be, it will come to light. But for meanwhile, we cannot be sitting here disrespecting our leaders of the church when we ourselves are not even living our life right. We need to do that first before we even think about trying to check someone in their role and principle in their auxiliary at church. And that's just common sense. So that's the other thing that I wanted to address, because I feel like I see that across the board. And honestly, I see that really close to my own. So I see that across the board, and I just feel like I don't like people bullying people. You got bullies in the church. You got bullies who feel like they know everything, and they don't know everything. They want to pretend like they know everything, but they don't. What they need to act like to know is what they need to know is God, not trying to know what someone else's business is. People spend so much time focusing on the wrong thing and not actually doing what they're supposed to do. That's the other thing. The third thing, when it comes down to hearing from God, I hear a lot of people ask, well, how can you hear from God? And ironically, I hear that question from people who are not living their life right. Well, first, like I said, I'm not here to say anything about nobody, but if you really want to hear from God, you have to actually adhere to what he wants you to do. That means you have to set some time to yourself and learn how to talk to him and be sincere and genuine. You need to, get rid of the distractions that may be distracting you to be able to hear from him. Sometimes you have to spend an hour or two to yourself and meditate on the word. Therefore, you will be able to hear more, but you have to be more in tune with God to be able to hear his voice and hear what he's trying to have you do. But if you're not even doing that, you won't hear from him. He's going to leave you right where you at in that corner on timeout. And then when you're ready to do some act right, then that's when you'll hear from him. But until you do that, you're never going to hear from him. So it's like you have to know what to do and when not to do, who to hang with and who not to hang with. Know that people is not always going to go with you in the same level. You may be high school friends, college friends, but depending on the level of spirituality that you are, they may not be able to come with you at all. You may say hi and bye, but as far as, doing things together and whatnot, you may not be able to do that anymore because you're on a whole nother level than that person. Let me see what else. It's another thing that was really bothering, I felt. We just need, as churches and church members, to be able to pray, and learn how to pray and be specific in our prayers. So if you're praying, if you want repair and restoration in something, we have to say those words. We have to be able to recognize things with our spiritual eye and not always think with our feelings and be reacting with our worldly eye. As new people that come in and do better, try to do better in church, you have to understand that you have to surround yourself by the people that you are wanting to learn from. You can't surround yourself with people who all they want to do is gossip and be messy and negative. You're not going to learn anything but what not to be. And you cannot surround yourself with an environment like that. And you have to be able to, and if you are consistently having people around you like that, then that's your weakness. That means you need to know how to get out of that. That's something you're gonna have. That's like a homework assignment. How do I get out of that type of situation where I'm no longer around people who are consistently being negative or just being gossiping or just being messy? Because, I don't know about you. When someone wants to gossip to me, one, I'm unbothered. Two, I completely remove myself from the whole situation. And if I feel that they absolutely have to be in my ear talking, I let them know. Like, have you talked to that person? If you haven't, then maybe you need to talk to them. And then most, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to hear what I got to say. So they don't even talk to me anymore about it. Because they know what's going to come out my mouth is not going to be in agreement with what they're saying. They don't want to hear that. They just want to hear you be in agreement to what they're saying. And what they're saying is not what God wants you to be in agreement to. So that's another technique, I would say, to run the devil spirit out from you with gossiping and negative and being messy. I think that's about all that I got. It's about 30 minutes, but so like I said, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted from new videos. And most of my videos come from real life experiences. Let me correction, not most of them, all of them come from real life experience. I like to think that some things you may have already came across or you definitely have been through. So that way you can probably most definitely relate when it comes down to your new spiritual journey, when it comes down to, joining the church and trying to stay right with God and stay in tune. So that way, that is what this channel is pretty much for, because you're going to have people who are trying to come at you all different types of ways. And you're going to have a lot of people that's going to attack you at your weaknesses. And you're going to have to learn how to figure it out and how to even see it before it's even coming. And better yet, how to remove yourself from situations so that they no longer be a bother to you. More or less, you may be a bother to them now because you no longer react in the way they are expecting you to react. So that is another thing that you might, that will come your way as well. So again, if you have any questions or you got any comments, please comment below and we can definitely chat about that or anything like that. If there's any other videos you would like to see or any topics you would like to talk about, make sure you go ahead and put that in the comment section below. That way we can definitely have a conversation. It's not just me conversating, but not just me bringing real life topics, but if you have some topics that you would like to also discuss or you would like to hear me discuss or get my point of view, that's okay as well. But other than that, I want to say, have a good night, have a blessed night, and make sure that you stay prayerful and lifted at all times. And just know that, hatred brings strife, but love conquers all. So just make sure that you know that. Just always keep loving unconditionally as God will want us to love as he loves us. And all your treasures and all your rewards will come sooner than what you think. And let him worry about anyone else who trespasses against your will. All right. Y'all have a good day. Bye.